Welcome to game 2 of the series, Luvnest versus Dusty.
We have more conscripts at our disposal.
Luvnest lost pretty bad in game 1 with his attempt at non-meta Storm Doctrine play, skipped tier 2 AT guns, and went straight to a Stug. To his credit, he did take out one T-34, although that was mostly due to RNG more than anything else. But at least he made the attempt. Let's see if he can pull this series from the jaws of defeat in game 2 and game 3. Should it get that far, Dusty playing as Oster on the right side is going to be utilizing mechanized assault, elite troops, and close air support, so certainly nothing too non-meta from him, although to be fair, elite troops has really struggled in this tournament, only winning one time in Luvnest versus Vindicare. Vindicare very much struggled to counter the Tiger Ace despite a huge early lead. Luvnest seemed to pull off a miracle that game. Maybe he'll do the same thing in this series. Guard, motor shock rifle, and armored assault for him, so purely meta loadout. Con spamming to start with. Combat engineers engaging against grenadiers right here. Conscripts taking control of the strategic and munitions points. Luvnest going hard north, whereas Dusty went hard south. So it's kind of interesting how in Faymanville there seem to be just no end of viable capping orders, just because of the general layout of the map kind of makes it interesting. Where do you really go first, and why, and how hard? Can produce some very different early games on Faymanville approach, and that's exactly what we're seeing here, even though the matchup hasn't changed at all, and neither have the builds, really, except for a slightly early MG42. MG42 setting up here on the cutoff facing left, and Grenadiers are moving to secure building control since Luvnest doesn't have any units in this area. Dusty will be able to set up a defensive position here in this house. Conscripts grabbing the victory point right there, and these conscripts moving to start harassing the fuel. They should win an engagement against these Pyos pretty easily. MG42 continues its advance, going pretty deep on this map. Gonna set it up in this green cover right here, I guess, while Grenadiers rotate all the way south towards this fuel, where they may be able to win an engagement against these conscripts if they set themselves up in green cover for their advance, or with MG42 support. But clearly Luvnest will take a very strong hold on the north, having dedicated 2 squads of conscripts to harass it, and Dusty doesn't really have anything to counter there right now. MG42 takes up a position inside this building, Grenadiers making their way down the central road, I think towards this cutoff. They will vault that fence to take this point first. And a second MG42 from Dusty, which is a pretty risky build. We've seen that fail time and time again because of how hard it is to keep them both alive. He's going to have very tight micro and execution this game. Have to keep those MGs very well supported. MG leaves the building under threat of a flamethrower right there from Luvnest. And this Grenadier squad has definitely lost this engagement. There's not very much cover over here, and plus the green cover wall medium range. Grenadiers have to reposition to safety and support. Pyos are on the way. They may be able to turn an engagement against a lone conscript squad. Second MG42 moves to set up here in the road, facing towards these conscripts. With Grenadiers in green cover, they should be able to win that engagement easily enough, especially with early lucky suppression like that. This MG's probably got to reposition to safety. It's falling pretty low, and that flamethrower is a serious threat of wiping it if it gets any lower. Wow. MG42 has to retreat. Meanwhile, this engagement, he has moved to re-engage against those conscripts. Pyos and Grenadiers at this range just can't seem to finish the job, and it looks like Luvnest will at least capture this point, even if he can't win this engagement, although support is on its way. MG42 waited too long to retreat, and there's the wipe. There's probably a crit involved, but that's already a machine gun stolen. And that high-risk double MG42 build already backfiring on Dusty hard. Probably a little bit of RNG in that engagement, but still. I think he waited a little long on the retreat with that machine gun, and now Luvnest has recovered it, which is going to put him in a huge lead. Dusty's going to queue up another one. He really wants to have 2 machine guns, apparently.
The enemy has broken our supply lines. Reinforcements complete. MG42 team is ready for action.
Pio's taking control of this munitions here in the south. Grenadiers grabbing the fuel right there. And Grenadiers take control of the strategic point, start making their way towards the fuel point up here. Everything's going to retreat away from the south because of combat engineers in this building. Go combat engineers. Dusty just needs to get all of that stuff healed and reinforced. No medic bunker yet. He does have a little bit of munitions banked, and no commander selection yet either. Conscripts force away a grenadier squad there in the north, and it looks like Luvnest is actually off to an even stronger start this game than Dusty was last game. Of course, he's going with the standard Soviet conspan to tier 2. Dusty went with the slightly less seen tier 1 against Oster. But he did make quite good use of his M3, so both of them experiencing very high amounts of early success as Soviets on this map.
Our lines of supply are disrupted. Awaiting order.
What was that?
Enemy has killed a machine.
Oh no, another machine gun wiped by a demo charge in that building, and a Grenadiers wiped. Oh my goodness, that's that wire ghost. He should have killed that wire ghost with his machine gun to give him a safe retreat path. Those two wipes are probably not something he can recover from. That machine gun just got stolen too. Luvnest has 2 MG42s in addition to his 4 conscript opening. I don't think Dusty can even come close to winning this game now. He's still miles away from being able to save himself with a Stugi or redistribute resources. A Tiger Ace is definitely not going to happen. Half track in production, maybe could try and make something happen with that, but I doubt it. He just gave his opponent 2 machine guns.
We have a fresh half track at our disposal.
Combat engineers have to reposition into the victory point over there on the left side. That mine's gonna hurt too. Oh, 2 models.
Our sector.
Half track is on its way though. Dusty going hard south with pretty much everything he has. Late retreat on the flamethrower piles there in the north. Might die on red cover. Fortunately, all conscript shots just missed. Flamethrower gets away very narrowly. New pile squad in the base. Maybe he wants to try and tech or get a minesweeper, I guess. Grenadiers force away that flamethrower combat engineer right there and start trying to slow down the triple cap here in the south. At this point, if I were Dusty, I might start thinking about just trying to knock 20 victory points off the board to get faction selection, since he did win game 1.
My sector has been cut off.
He did win game 1 with 486 VPs, which means he only has to get his opponent down to about 485 just to get faction selection for game 3 so he can play as his very strong Soviets again. That mine! Oh my god! These wipes! They're too much! But even that, even just knocking off 20 VPs with an army of this size against an army of this size may be impossible at this point, honestly. I don't know how Dusty would do it. He has basically no fuel. So he can't get a Stuggy anytime, even remotely soon. I don't know what he can do to save himself. Grenadiers need to reposition towards that. Oh my god! Wow! Oh, poor Dusty. Poor Dusty. The carnage is just... This is just so much. The mines, the demo charges, the flamethrowers, it's all combining to create the perfect storm. Wow.
force can now be summoned to the battlefield. We may now deploy Mechanized Assault Group's commander.
And there's the surrender. Luvnest takes game 2 with 500 VPs, which means he will get faction selection for game 3. Wow. GG, well played, Luvnest.